And this week, we heard that the Peaky Blinders movie was being filmed in Cumbria. So that kind of came out over the last 7 days or so, didn't it? And over the years, we've had plenty of interest in our county from film directors wanting to set scenes in this beautiful part of the world. And why not? The Groom brothers, Michael and David from Carlisle, decided that Cumbria was where they would like to set their debut feature film, which is being shown in cinemas around the county between now and Christmas. So I had a catch-up with Michael to find out more about their film, Between the Lights.
It's a love story set over 3 consecutive Christmases between a spiritual medium, a reluctant spiritual medium, and a skeptic. And it's very much her story. She's the skeptic, and at the start she just doesn't believe what this guy's telling her, the skills he possesses. But by the 3rd Christmas, she's witnessed too much that she can't explain, so it sort of affects her belief system.
That sounds really interesting. How did you come up with the idea then?
I've been long interested in the paranormal, really, just being open to that side of things. My brother produced it with me, writing and directing it, and we made short films before, and there was always like a sprinkling of magic realism in the short films, but when we decided we wanted to do a feature, we wanted to up the ante on it and bring more of the supernatural into it. A long time ago, a friend of mine was a reluctant medium as well, and he was saying how hard it is to keep a relationship sometimes when the other half is a skeptic. And that kernel of an idea has always stuck with us, and when we decided we wanted to do a feature, we just thought, let's go with that story and set it in York, where I went to university, and the Lake District, where obviously we're from Cumbria, so we wanted to shoot back home as well.
When you say a reluctant medium, do you mean somebody who can communicate, I suppose, with spirits, but perhaps doesn't want to?
He's clairaudient. He can hear them and occasionally he can see them, but he doesn't really want that. Well, she calls it a superpower. He doesn't really want that, but he's had to live with it because he's just trying to get on with his life, and then a spirit will interrupt him, for example, and that happens in the film a few times.
And you talk about, obviously, setting part of it in the Lake District. I love the idea that you wanted to represent areas in the UK that don't get that recognition.
Well, yeah, I mean, a few things have filmed in the Lake District in the last decade or so. When I started in the industry, hardly anything had been made there recently. And we did 2 of our short films in the Lake District. And we always knew when we came to do features that we wanted to do it in the lakes as well, at least a chunk of them. The other thing is the beauty of the Lake District just adds such production value. So filming with those wide vistas, and we filmed on Friars Crag and places like that, it just looks beautiful, and it brings a certain character to the film. From day one, we knew we wanted to shoot in the lakes.
Is that canvas, isn't it? The canvas that you've got for free.
Same in a way with York, because York is such a pretty city, and not much is actually filmed in York because it's hard for bigger films to get a full unit base anywhere near the York city centre because of the ring road that they built in the 70s. So, logistically, York is a nightmare to film in. But it looks very pretty, and it looks expensive on camera as well.
You've received incredible reviews from film critics so far, haven't you?
Yeah, we've done all right on the reviews front, which not just from critics, but from the audiences too, which, I place a lot of belief in what the audiences think as well. Ultimately, we're making the film for the audiences. Yeah. So, it's gone down well. I mean, we've been at film festivals all year long, really. It premiered in New York almost a year ago. Well, over a year ago, actually, now. And it's gone down really well everywhere, so we're really thrilled that people seem to respond to it and enjoy it, and we just hope that continues. We hope it becomes on people's lists of Christmas films that they return to.
Absolutely. Well, that's key, isn't it? If you've done that, you've won, basically, haven't you? And
yeah.
I love the fact that you've made this film with your brother, and you've done other films with him as well. How did you both get into it?
I always wanted to work in film, and straight out of university, I went down to London and basically worked kind of for free for work experience for about 6 months or a year, and I was just like couch surfing. But that was quite a while ago now. These days, the film industry is less centralised. You don't have to be in London. It is still very London-centric, but you don't have to be there these days so much. And I did work experience at Revolution Films, which is Michael Winterbottom's film company. He's a film director, a very prolific director. And while I was there, I got on well with everybody, and they asked me back to work on one of his films. And for about 10 years, I worked on every one of his films. And then I progressed onto bigger budgeted stuff that was shooting in the UK, like more Hollywood-type films that were shooting in the UK. And David, he's 2 years younger than me, but when he finished university, he entered the industry as well and had a similar sort of route through it. And I was always writing on the side, and we were doing short films. And then when COVID hit, the film industry shut down, and it gave us kind of a breathing space to think, well, if we want to do our own stuff, let's set up a company and try and find finance, and let's try and do our own stuff. And then Between the Lights happened, I was going to say fairly quickly, but it wasn't that quick because it took a year to get the finance, and it took a year in post-production just because we were pulling loads of favours in and stuff, so had to fit around the bigger Hollywood films that were at these production houses. But that was kind of our route, really, and now with Between the Lights being received so well, got 2 more films in the pipeline that seem to be gaining momentum, and people are now sort of answering our emails more and picking up the phone more, which is good.
And opening up doors, fantastic. It's incredible, and it's amazing as well that you haven't forgot where you're from and you're using that.
Want to come back.
And you will use it again then, Cumbria, is it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah, without a doubt. Definitely.
Wonderful. I can't wait to see what you guys do next.
Like I said, 2 in the pipeline. One is set in 6th century Ireland. It's a adaptation of a book called Confessions of a Pagan Nun. And the other one is a grounded sci-fi film set on the Orkney Islands. Those are the 2 that we're developing at the moment.
Michael Groom there, Cumbrian writer and director of Between the Lights, made with his brother David, and set partly in their home county. You can catch the film at Workington Parkway with daily screenings until the 20th of December, and having held its European premiere in Keswick earlier in the year, it'll be showing at the Keswick Alhambra every day between the 18th and the 24th as well. So wonderful to catch up with Michael there, and it's just great to hear success stories, isn't it, from our region. So I love it, and best of luck to them. Can't wait to see what they do next.